Welcome to NFL Daily, where we're not feeling great about that Lions to the Super Bowl prediction. I'm Gregg Rosenthal here in the Chris Wesseling podcast studio with my friend Cynthia Frelund for our weekly pick segment, which used to be called Man versus Machine, but we thought that was unfair to Cynthia, who is a living, breathing woman with emotions. She's not a machine.
Emotions? What are those?
Your computer model doesn't have emotions, and that's what really is nailing these picks for you week after week. It was me who picked the Lions to the Super Bowl, and I'm feeling a little uneasy. I even rode with them last week against the Packers. That's one of the reasons why I have a losing record so far on the season. I went 1-2, and yes, if you're watching on YouTube, we love you. The YouTube audience, big for this show. I'm 1-2. Cynthia, you went 2-1. I had the Lions, as I mentioned. I also lost on the Giants. Terrible pick there. My Jaguars came through for me. You were on both sides of crazy comebacks. You got the Bills to help you out, but the Bears let you down in the fourth quarter, and then you also had the Bucks. So you start off 2-1, and then I do scribble all those teams at the end.
What are the Scribbles doing?
Last week, the Scribbles went 3-2. We're going to keep track unofficially or
Well,
officially.
the Scribbles are like where it's at.
Last year, the Scribbles were good. Those were the extra picks. Today, I only have 2 extra picks. I want to start with you, though. You get to go first because, as everyone knows, your model nailed the Super Bowl prediction before a year ago. You won this competition a year ago, and you went 2-1 last week. So you go first.
And my Super Bowl picks won their first games, so that's good.
What was it this year?
Bills over Eagles.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not.
Those defense got something to work on.
I'm not saying I feel great about it, but
okay.
they're both 1-0, and that's all I care about. One week at a time, Greg. Okay, let's start. I'm gonna see how spicy I want to be. Look, I'm gonna keep this one pretty boring and neutral. I think Cincinnati as 3.5
Ooh.
is not. I don't like the half. I don't care. I have them winning by 6. I'm a pretty conservative modeler, so I think Cincinnati wins by more than 3.5 points at home against the Jags.
When you say you're a conservative modeler, maybe explain to the listeners what that means.
So you can put a lot of volatility into when you model and code like this. You can put a lot of volatility into it. Like you can weight different things give it lots of different weights. So it could, what's a good example? When you watch some other networks have like the win probability.
Sure.
And when you see a win probability go from 99 to the other team winning more than once in like a lot of games, then they're modeling not conservatively enough.
They're a little loose.
They're playing fast and loose with the model, because it really should. If something really is 99%,
your numbers are tight. That's why when we pick all the games and all the scores on Game Debut, which is on NFL Network every Friday, it's very rare for you to have more than a 10-point game. You always have it, pretty close, and that makes sense because if you run all the outcomes, that makes sense. This is going to be the first time this year, and I do not like doing this.
Who were on the other side?
But I only had 2 picks that I was definitely taking. My model is extremely volatile. It's vibes based.
Yeah.
No, it's eyeball test based. It's how I believe in the teams and the players and what I've seen based.
Mm-hmm.
And that all leads me, with no statistical modeling, to picking the Jags plus 3.5. Now, your model takes emotion out of the equation. Maybe I'm just too happy that the Jags gave me an easy Sunday a week ago and I took them over the Panthers. You're like, take a more interesting game. No, we want winners. I think.
Well, one of us is going to be a winner on this one.
I think
they guarantee one of us wins.
That is true. It's unfortunate when we're guaranteeing a 1-1 between the two of us because I want us both to do well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were cohesive in terms of their running game. When I watched their offensive line, I thought, oh, wow, that is a really well-coached offensive group who struggled last year running the ball, and their offensive line struggled. And week 1, you could see it. And then on the other side of the ball, I see really good pass rushers, Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker. You got Arik Armstead in the middle, and I see a Bengals offensive line that didn't play great last week. The Bengals offense in general wasn't great. I'm going to pick this game straight up for the Jaguars on Game Debut. Where you don't have to do that here, but that extra half a point, don't you have a slang word for that?
The hook.
The hook.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hooked me. Like that extra half a point, it's like, okay, I'm making this one of my picks because I think they can win straight up. I think these two teams are relatively even. I'm taking the Jaguars plus 3.5.
Wow. Okay. Well, look here are. I'll just give you my quick points on why my mom's on the other side of that.
Mhm.
Number one, Jamar Chase, in games when he's following not having an output, a sub 30-yard output, it's like 113 yards is his average.
The
And
following game.
yeah, the following.
Mm.
And not to say, and that's not the reason for it. It's because of what that actually means. It means they rethink the game plan. They go back to the drawing board. Plans B, C, D didn't work. I still saw something that was great with that Noah Fant touchdown from Joe Burrow. It was a blitz. It was on a blitz. And Joe Burrow was still incredible against the blitz. So this is something where they started slow. They always start slow. We get it. But ultimately,
They were trying not to this year. It's all they ever talked about in the preseason, all this stuff. And then they come out and they had 100 and under 150 yards against the Browns. And
Pokey puppies. We get it. Yeah.
that is part of my reasoning. And I don't know how much your model is obviously baking in their historical greatness on offense overall compared to just what you saw week one or maybe their historic struggles early in the year. I am leaning a little bit on what I saw by the Jaguars defense, and it might end up being misleading because they were playing the Panthers. But what I saw out of them was a creative group with Anthony Campanile is the new defensive coordinator. And I just like what I saw. Jordan Lewis and Tyson Campbell. I think their secondary is not great, but it might not be a big negative like it used to be in the past.
One way to look real stupid with your secondary, play Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and company. I'm that's like this.
There?
I'm not suggesting that they're not good, but I think we saw maybe over-index of looking very good last week,
Yeah.
and now they're probably gonna.
They're going to come back to the pack.
That's right.
All I need is this Jaguars running game, which I think is going to be good against a pretty lackluster Bengals defense in my mind. All I got to need is them just to keep up in a little bit of a score fest. So it could be 27-24. You know what? Even if the Bengals win,
that hook,
I win. So we'll see.
I hope it comes down to 3 because that's just funny. If I'm gonna lose, I only want to lose by 3. Like if it's on the hook.
All right, so that's we've already knocked out one pick each.
Crazy.
You go for your second pick.
Okay, so I'm just trying to decide how spicy to be here because I know we had our production meeting for our game day.
Sure, it gives away our picks a little bit. But these should be your favorites. You don't need to go spicy. Do the ones you're the most confident in, no matter who they are.
I mean, if I'm going no, because then I'm picking things. No. We're gonna pick some that I like the most. How about that?
Sure.
I think New England wins.
Interesting.
Beats Miami.
Interesting.
So if you're gonna want to give me a point and a half, I will take that point and a half because Miami favored at home by 1.5 points. New England, listen, I picked them last week. They burned me, but some weird things happened. One, Drake May took conservatively. I think he threw the ball like 355 times. No,
it was a lot of passes.
287 passing yards. He had the most passing attempts that we've seen him have. We didn't see him use as like seven rushing yards. 7 rushing yards. So maybe the theme is 7 because the Bengals had 7 yards of offense in the second half, and I'm picking them. And Drake May had 7 rushing yards in this last matchup. But this is something where yards off of scrambles are something where Drake May, between I think it was like week 8 and 18, or he actually led the league in scrambling yards once he became the starter last year. So I think we use number 1 that, and number 2, the swing pass to Travion Henderson. What does Josh McDaniels love to do? Swing pass, swing pass, swing pass. That's all we ever see. Why didn't we see those last week? I don't know. Travion Henderson can catch the ball. I think they figure out a way to make the run game, even if it's a run by proxy of short passes, fine. Still, short yardage game, I think is going to be much improved.
Look, I'm on your side with this one. It wasn't going to be one of my picks just because these
You're on my side?
teams.
You have New England winning?
I mean, I have New England winning.
What?
I mean,
it's great news.
I mean,
this is great news.
Is it really? I went 1-2 last week with the other. If you
it.
count the extras, it was
you did great.
500.
I think it's great. Stop it.
So their running game really struggled last week. I think that was part of the reason why Drake May just looked a little jumpy, uneven. I don't know if it was
Drake May watched that Daniel Jones footage and was like, 2 rushing touchdowns for Daniel Jones. I can at least score 1.
I think he could, and that Dolphins defense has a lot of talent in it. There's a lot going on with this Dolphins team. My issue only with this game was just these two teams. I don't know what to make of them early, and so I'm just gonna stay away. I believe though in a different team in that division.
Who? The Jets.
The Jets.
You think they win?
I
Or you think
mean,
they just keep it closer than what is
they are
half?
they are
Spice it a
underdogs
little bit
here.
at 6.5 points.
6.5 points. I believe. Justin Fields looked so good last week. He was calm. He was accurate. He was composed. And their running game was destroying the Pittsburgh freaking Steelers. Like Breece Hall, 18 yards. Breece Hall, 14 yards. I love them up front. What did the Bills do last week? I know they were playing the Baltimore Ravens, but they gave up 238 yards on the ground.
That many?
I think they've been searching on defense throughout training camp and the preseason for players in the back end, especially that can hold up in terms of the safety position and tougher players in terms of stopping the run. If I could pick almost any other team in the AFC, they wouldn't want to see this week. It's the running and maybe even a little gunning New York Jets. Now, yes, I am taking them to win this game, which is a desperate pick in week 2. I'm already like trying to chase you on the picks. I don't know why. I know they're almost a touchdown underdog. That you could do, with the odds and whatnot, take them to win over on, the straight up.
Sure.
But I feel really good. This show is only about the number.
Yeah.
And 6.5 points for this Jets team.
Great.
I'm not overly confident in the Jets defense at all. I think it's going to be a high scoring game where both running games get a lot done. I think the Jets keep it close.
James Cook is streaking, right? He's had 5 games in a row with a rushing touchdown. No, I'm just curious if you think he gets in the end zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he keeps that streak alive.
Their offensive line is awesome. And you talked about that last week a lot with Osiris Torrance and the continuity.
Yeah.
It's underrated because people are like, Josh Allen's making it happen with this ragtag group around him in terms of the receiver. First of all, Ken Coleman's a first-round pick, early second. Like, he's getting better. Khalil Shakir is good.
I mean, 9 of them each they had 9 targets. All 3 of their main wide receivers had 9 targets.
But I would point out, like, that offensive line is a weapon.
Yeah.
And if so, it's kind of like Mahomes 3 years ago in that first year without Tyreek Hill. You give a quarterback at the peak of his powers a great offensive line, you don't necessarily need incredible weapons. And that's why Jets to win the game doesn't feel like amazing. But I think the Steelers were very lucky to win that game last week. I think the Jets have something a little special, and they're going to be fighting hard to avoid that 0-2 start to the season. So I believe in my New York Jets. I've adopted them for this.
You've adopted them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had them going to the playoffs as my 7th seed. This is something the model wouldn't do, which is get too attached to your preseason.
Right. Yeah, you can't. That's the thing. Like, sometimes, I mean, listen, attachment is a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's why we become fans. But you have to be able to separate your picks from your attachment. Otherwise, we're going to have to take all your little chips and pull them off the table and go other.
Okay. But if you just look at the numbers from a week ago.
I'm not saying the Jets aren't great, but I'm saying you can't overly, you have to let next play, every player will tell you whether it's good or bad. You can't use you just got to be disciplined. The discipline of chill.
The Jets, what they put on the field last week as a product, to me, that looked like a 7 seed type of team for what it's worth. And this is just the numbers. DVOA, I think you respect DVOA, but maybe it's.
I respect DVOA. I'm not.
It's a rivalry a little bit. They're in the numbers game.
Trying to argue.
They got the Jets as the 10th best team after last week, and the Bills were down to the 20s. Big sample size.
I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah,
after one game.
I know.
I like your conviction. I'm not saying not to be a fan. I'm just saying to separate. This is fan time from this is math time. Yeah, that's it. That's all. I have to say that to myself too. I have to code this stuff without any names on it because teams that pay me money, like the freaking Broncos in the preseason, I tend to like them better, right?
Now we're getting the real stuff.
But
I love this.
But I have to do it with things I feel very agnostic towards. That's how I code it. So I don't know if this year, because I'm a psychopath, it's different types of dogs. So, and I do have thoughts on that, but I'm not, the Yorkie beating the whatever, the German Shepherd. I'm going to take the German Shepherd.
And I do think, and you'll see this with my next pick too.
Well, you want mine pick yet?
I do. Yeah. I do think there is something about the team's trying to avoid being 0-1. The Bills are coming off like a historic, amazing win at home. Is there any little, not trap, but just
tired,
a little more emotional? It's a little bit of a letdown. All right, give me your last pick.
All right. Well, we talked about how I get emotional about teams. There's these 2 teams that have actually emotions on both sides that I like. I love the Broncos. But Lou Anarumo is one of my very favorite humans, ever. So they're playing each other.
Like how high on the list? I mean, that's a lot, humanity.
I mean, I don't really like a lot of people, so
Top 30?
oh, for
Lou. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So he's above me.
no.
He's ahead.
He's not above you. He's not above
I would like to see that ranking because, 30's that's pretty lofty praise. All right, but does that mean you're picking him?
No, picking
Oh.
the Broncos.
Mm.
It's 2.5 points. The reason, just like you talked about, it's the 2.5.
Mm.
To me, Bo Nix, 4 turnovers. Now, you talk about Sean Payton. What do you think happened to Bo Nix after turning the ball over that many times last game? I'm going to guess it wasn't pretty.
They just started running the ball, essentially? You mean in the game or
No,
during the
like when they were watching it back on the like, my point is there's a reason why some of these Hall of Fame coaches keep their jobs for so long. It's because they don't like, these are the types of things like this crap doesn't happen again. Like it doesn't. Now, mostly the reason I'm picking them is because the Denver Bronco defense is the best unit in this game, and it's not close. And the second reason, Charvarius Ward is very unlikely to play, which helps Bo Nix's ability to not turn the ball over.
And that's entered into the model. No Ward at this point.
Injuries, right now, it's Ward 50% because I don't know if he's going to play or not. I can switch it closer to the time, but even with Ward 100%, it's still 3 points in favor of the Broncos.
I would put Ward at close to 0% at this point because if you miss practice early in the
I'm just saying.
you're in the protocol, so that's even more in your favor.
Right.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I struggled with it. The heart of it all likes the Colts story. I think their
Of course,
defense,
I like the Colts story too.
I think the defense is going to be difficult for teams to go against this
Agreed.
year, much improved. But ultimately, I agreed with every single point that you made, so I just won't repeat it. But that defense, yeah, we'll see.
They're good.
We'll see how real the Danny Dimes renaissance is. Okay, so I wrote down, sometimes I got a lot of games I really like.
Yep.
Sometimes I just have 4. That was this week. So I gave you my top 2.
4 is the minimum.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't know. 3 could no, some weeks it's like 2 and you're really forcing it. This time I have really 4 I really liked, and then there was a pretty big gap. There's like one more I'll throw in there. But so maybe you can help me because I'm curious which side of either the Falcons plus 3.5 or the Seahawks plus 3 you're on. And you might be opposite me on both of these, but I like them both for different reasons. I'm leaning towards the Falcons one.
I actually have both of those.
Yo, you agree with me?
Yeah. So the one I would technically agree with you, like looking at my model right now, the one I technically agree with you more on is, what is it? Minnesota's at 3.5. I have Minnesota winning by 3, so
it's close.
That's a hook there. But then I have a 2-point win in favor of Pittsburgh only, so I technically agree with you a little bit more on Seattle.
Very close though.
It extremely. I mean,
this is tricky because I'm gonna go with my gut and go with that extra half point. The hook is getting me again, and go with the Falcons plus 3.5 as my official third pick. I like both these games though.
Yep.
For different reasons. I'll run through them both because that would have been one of my written down.
Yeah. Add it to the extra game, which means it's gonna hit.
Okay. I think their quarterback is better right now. Atlanta, Michael Penix versus JJ McCarthy. I just think he's more mature. He showed more. We'll see where McCarthy is. I think the Atlanta secondary showed me a little something in week 1 that I'm excited about. A couple rookies, Billy Bowman and Xavier Watts. Xavier Watts really played well in that game, and I thought A.J. Terrell was kind of looking peak A.J. Terrell. He's a guy who had an all-pro season, but he's had injuries. He struggled a little bit. Last week, I thought he looked awesome against the Bucs.
He did.
That was a game where if you play that game over the way it played out, like the numbers would tell you that the Falcons really outplayed the Bucs, but they ended up losing that game. And then this is the dumb part of me, why I'm leaning towards it. I do sometimes look at the two teams and just think, well, they look like 1-1 teams to me. Neither one of these teams deserve to be 0-2. Neither one of these teams deserve to be 2-0. And we see this a lot in the NFL, that a lot of times teams respond well to losses. And so 3.5 points is what does it for me. I don't really feel strong about the Falcons winning in particular, but I like that 3.5 points based on everything I saw. Raheem Morris, year 2 with his defense, they cover.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. My asterisks on this one, that just like the little note that could adjust it but would adjust more in favor of Atlanta is if we see the health of, like, is Darnell Mooney.
He sounds like he's playing.
Right.
He's practicing.
So
we don't know for sure, but
that's,
that's a good one.
Again, that's just an asterisk, but it just reinforces your point.
And no Blake Cashman for the Vikings. That is confirmed. He's on injured
Right.
reserve. And I think that could be a problematic spot for them. It's like Ivan Pace, and you could attack the middle of the field
100%.
there. Kyle Pitts looked pretty good. Seattle, to me, is more of a – I just think they match up well. I think all those zone runs that the Jets had against the Steelers last week, the Seahawks can do that. I think the pass rush against Aaron Rodgers, who did a lot of really good things last week, but he didn't handle the pass rush well at all. He took 4 sacks and kind of was panicked when he was under pressure. I think they could get pressure.
Oye, Mafe, baby.
Right, so 3 points. I really like that game too. Like I said, I liked 4 a lot this week, but I will go with Atlanta officially as my third, in the Seattle +3 as my little extra. And just because I'm feeling generous to the listeners, Browns 11.5. I'll take the Browns to cover that 11.5. I'm feeling a little spicy. I thought they played
Joe Flacco.
I mean, you're gonna try to bring the Browns in, the organization you ripped away from like one of the best football towns in the world, and you do your 30th anniversary of the franchise celebration with everyone coming in on the day the Browns come into town. I mean, that's certainly intentional. And I see you, and I think that's bad football god juju.
I mean, it's definitely something. Like,
the model can't account for that.
No, the model does not know what that means. But ultimately, I mean, I didn't realize they were doing that.
Yeah, it's
who's in charge over there?
I mean, it's a rivalry, but that's honestly part of the reason why I like the Browns in this game. I thought their rookies looked great last week, and I just think they're going to be a little better this season, and it's a divisional matchup where there's a lot of familiarity, and so it's a lot. In week 11.5 points.
And the Ravens have had vulnerability to 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets, so there are reasons to support your findings.
Little Harold Fannin Jr. action, and yeah,
also his name is Harold. I love that. I don't know why. I don't know anyone named Harold, but I love the idea that his name is Harold.
I love that he's a 44 playing tight end and fullback. There aren't many true, like, they call people jokers. Like, he's a real joker. He's moving in every position. I saw him blow open a hole on a touchdown run on the goal line. That was cool. That was why he was one of my winners on the extra picks last week, +5.5. All right, that's enough. We got to get down for our show, Game Day View. You can check out Cynthia on her YouTube page, Numbers Game, each and every week if you want even more picks from Cynthia, really getting deep into the numbers every single game. And she's got a new show, too, with CBS analyst Logan Ryan. So everyone...
Logan's great.
Check out that. Logan is really, really good on the broadcast I listen and with you. That is it. We will hopefully do even better for all
you
guys.
Yeah, we will.
This week, it'll be the last time you hear from us in the feed until Sunday night when we are back. They're letting recap show.
They're letting you leave the building? Here now?
No. I will be staying until Sunday night game.
Got it. Okay.
For all those games, me, Jordan Rodriguez, Patrick Claybon, and Nick Shook. See you Sunday night.